You sign up for the Olympics, ready to prove you're the best athlete in the world. And instead, you end up dodging horses, choking on dust, and maybe eating a rotten apple or two. Welcome to the 1904 St. Louis Olympics. The games so chaotic, they make a clown car look organized. Today, we're diving into the wildest marathon in history. And trust me, like the competitors, you are not ready for this. The 1904 Summer Olympics in St. Louis are remembered less as a sporting triumph and more like a three-ring circus of questionable decisions. This was the Olympics that brought us tug of war as a medal event, pole climbing greased with actual lard, and even a gymnast who competed and won on a wooden leg. But of all the strange and chaotic competitions, one event stands out above the rest: the marathon. A race so absurd it makes Mario Kart look like a calm Sunday jog. This is a story of dust, dehydration, doping, and oh yeah, hitchhiking. The 1904 games weren't even supposed to be in St. Louis. Chicago was the original host city. So what happened? The answer lies with one of the biggest events taking place that summer, the St. Louis World's Fair. Fair organizers planned their own athletic contests. The Olympic Committee worried the games would be completely overshadowed, so they caved, moved the Olympics to St. Louis, and tied them directly to the fair. What could possibly go wrong? The marathon route was 24.85 miles, not the modern 26.2. It wound through dusty back roads where runners had to dodge horses, wagons, trolleys, and even the occasional car. Imagine running in the Olympics and having to swerve around a mule and an Oldsmobile runabout at mile 6, while having to breathe in all the accompanying dust and soot. It was 90 degrees, no planned water stations, except for one well around mile 12. Why? Because organizers wanted to study, quote, the effects of extreme dehydration on athletes. In other words, the runners were guinea pigs in a science experiment. At the starting line, 32 athletes. On your mark, get set, and boom, 2 competitors dropped out immediately from the heat and dust. Now, let's talk about Fred Lors. He made it about 9 miles before his body gave up. Cramping, exhausted, he thought his day was over.
How about a shortcut?
But then he spotted a car meant for race officials, so he hopped in. After a while, feeling better, he got out, jogged into the stadium, and crossed the finish line first. The crowd went wild. President Roosevelt's daughter was literally about to crown him with gold when officials realized he had been chauffeured most of the way. Lors claimed it was a prank, which is just Olympic-level trolling. He was banned for life, though that was later reduced to 1 year. Incredibly, he came back to win the 1905 Boston Marathon. Next up, Felix Carvajal, a Cuban mailman who wins the award for Best Backstory. He raised money to come to the Olympics, then promptly lost it all in a dice game in New Orleans. With no cash left, he hitchhiked the rest of the way to St. Louis. On race day, he had no gear, so he naturally did what anyone else would do. He borrowed scissors, cut his trousers into shorts, slung his shoes around his neck, and lined up barefoot in the Missouri heat. Halfway through, starving, he spotted an apple orchard. He grabbed a few apples and ate them on the run. Unfortunately, they were rotten. Cue stomach cramps so bad he had to lie down and nap mid-race. Yet somehow, Felix still finished 4th. He didn't win a medal, but he won the crowd's heart and probably their sympathy. Enter Thomas Hicks, the man who would actually be declared the winner. Like everyone else, he was struggling. His trainers refused to give him water. Instead, they gave him a performance drink, a special tonic mix of raw egg whites, brandy, and strychnine. Yeah, don't do that. At the time, small doses were believed to boost performance. In reality, it causes hallucinations and muscle spasms. Hicks begged to stop, but his handlers practically carried him forward, dosing him with more of the concoction as he stumbled. By the finish, he had lost 8 pounds and was barely conscious. The fact that he survived is a medical miracle. Some officials wanted him disqualified for doping, but his victory stands to this day. Of the 32 runners who started, only 14 finished. One nearly died of internal bleeding. Another was chased a mile off course by a pack of stray dogs and still finished 9th. This marathon remains the most chaotic in Olympic history, and it left quite a legacy. It taught us that maybe you need more than one water station during a race, that special tonics are not that special, and that sometimes the most inspiring story isn't the winners, but the man finished 4th. So next time you watch a modern marathon with hydration packs, medical staff, and closed roads, just remember, it could be worse. It could be 1904.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.